Okay.
Good evening, everybody. It is Monday night, which means that we are racing once again here at SARCO. This is round number 8, so it is a finals time here this evening. And man, oh man, do we have an exciting couple of 2 races coming up this evening. It is extremely close in the Alpha tier with Durkee just needing to secure his couple of points. He has 34 points ahead of Jakes, who's currently in second place. But then in the Bravo tier coming up at 9 o'clock, that is a winner-takes-all between 3 drivers, between our ball bag, and so that's Christo, Stephen, as well as Tyler. Stephen, how are you this evening?
Yeah, can't be too bad. A little bit of the pressure's sitting in now, but I was fine until you mentioned that.
No, look, the whole idea is just keep it on the track. Anything can happen. The rain has found us here at Donnington Park. It is going to clear up, however. So the beauty about that is, how's your tyre strategy, and when do you put those soft tyres on?
Yeah, I won't give too much away yet because I haven't raced yet. But my strategy is pretty simple. As soon as I see a track that's starting to dry out, those slicks are coming on, because that Porsche is going to start flying around that track.
No, absolutely 100%. I actually am really looking forward to that Bravo tier happening a little bit later. But Stephen, I'm going to love and leave you, and I'm going to be joining the guys in the lobby for my Alpha race. And hopefully we'll catch up with you a little bit later.
Sweet, enjoy.
Thank you kindly. So I'm just going to get rid of that. And why does Chase's machine always seems to be just disconnecting at this stage?
Oh. Okay, so we just have a bit of a technical problem with Chase disconnecting there. Chase has got the live stream connected to him, so yes, I hope he's got it sorted.
Turkey.
Ja.
But yeah, tonight is going to be interesting with the Alpha boys. Also very close there. But Durkee leading the championship already. So with Jake's right behind him, and then Morris in third. So it's going to be a very tight race. We're going to see those BMWs around Donnington this evening. Surprisingly, I haven't seen Morris on the track, so it's going to be very interesting to see his lap times, because I was on last night with the boys and I saw some of their times, so it's going to be very interesting to see what those BMs are going to be doing. But yes, like Dylan has said, it is wet to dry, so it's going to be very interesting. Donnington is a very short track, very technical, but a little bit of a wet track is the big spanner that has been chucked in tonight. So we are going to see those Porsches, Fords, and the Corvettes. We won't forget the Corvettes, because there's a Corvette in the Bravo. So it's going to be very interesting to see what that Corvette is going to do in the wet. I know I have driven the Corvette previously, but I don't think I've driven in the wet. But it's a pretty stable car in the wet. The Ford is a pretty deadly car to be driving. If you've got the right setup for that car, it can be used correctly. But it comes down to when do you make that pit stop and remove those wets and put on slicks. So that is going to be the question. It looks like we still have a problem with Chase tonight.
Yes, Jock.
I don't know what's going on.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, just waiting to see if we can sort out Chase. But yes, we have Rockstar, Mal, Marius, Gavin, Jakes, Brandon Skills, Quicksilver, Dylan. We have the Hills, Souls, Insomnia. So we've only got 10 cars on the grid tonight. It's Normally we have a full grid of Alpha, so that's a little bit weird. Maybe it's because it's the last race of the season. The boys that know that they're not anywhere, but it's not nice not to be in the race.
Okay, so Morris, I see your microphone lipping there, so you're not clashing, so I'm not sure why it keeps kicking us up.
No, it wasn't my screen clashing, but it's good now.
Okay.
Let's wait before it
Just change your card, Dylan.
Oh shit.
Oh shit, that would be a disaster.
It's green, but it's not the right
card
one.
not to change. Can't.
I say.
Oh.
Right, just waiting for those green thumbs to go up, and then we can get racing.
That's why.
Whoops, let's kijk wat die angst.
Oh, thank you.
Well, as we see, it is light rain, not heavy rain. Thank goodness for that. But it does get a bit cluggy on the track. Don't be mistaken. As you say, it's Donnington. It is a very tricky track. Very easy to overdrive the car. We have 12 turns. Length of the track is 4.02 kilometers. So the times are going to be quite quick here tonight. It's just to see who's going to put it on pole. And as we see, we are on Rockstar Mall. We see some of the cars going out already, so see that wonderful Porsche still in the pits there. Vaughan is out. Let's watch a bit of Vaughan. I think this is the crucial point of your qualifier, because a few minutes later the track does get a bit cloggy with the water. So, and it looks like Rockstar Mars got himself a grid penalty speeding in the pit lane. Rookie mistake. And I think Terry is also not here tonight. I think he's got mechanical issues with his gear. So it's a bit unfortunate for that. As we see, we have Vaughan Hills in the Ford. It looks like it's mainly just Fords in the Alpha tier. So one Porsche, two BMs. So not much of a manufacturer's placing up there. So yeah, so it's Ford versus Ford versus Ford versus BM versus Porsche. So we'll like to see that Porsche there on the podium in Alpha, because Dylan hasn't been able to actually win in Alpha with the Porsche. And it looks like Vaughan has actually just started his lap right now. So Dylan, lap time is invalidated. Probably just went a bit too wide on the track limits there. Well, and there we see Vaughan losing the rear end there a little bit. So it's going to cost him a little bit, but hopefully not too much. But we do know in the Alpha, one little mistake can drop you quite far down the grid. As you see, it's a string of Fords. As you see, the rain is coming down quite hard. Even though it's only a light rain, it doesn't look like a light rain, but trust me, it is a light rain. And the first time goes up 133.8. And then there goes Brandon with a 132 flat. And then we got Gavin on a 131.6. Then we have Quicksilver on a 129.7. And Rockstar Mall on a 129.3. So those are just the 5 Fords that have crossed right now. And then Jake's, he had a bit of a bad lap there, 135.2. So I wonder if he made a little bit of a mistake. So right now we have Rockstar Mall in pole position. You see that beautiful black BMW. Going to be interesting to see what happens with Marius. Can he improve? Because Quicksilver has improved by 0.004. So that is a very close time that Rockstar and Quicksilver have there. Those two are teammates, so it's going to be a very close one, that one. And then we see Stolz. He's up there by 0.657 of a second. So that is very close. He's laying in 3rd place right now. Morris is a second behind that. Does he improve? No, he does not. But we do see Dylan improve there. He's still 4 seconds from pole position. So that is a little bit disappointing there, because I was expecting him to put it up there closer to the 130s, where probably just hasn't had a proper run yet. You see Jakes is battling a bit here tonight. He's laying in 10th place. He's 4.7 seconds off pole. Oh, and losing it. And Cameron catching the awful start there. So that's looks like Rockstar Mall thinks he's done enough to keep his pole position, but he's not going out. He probably doesn't want his car wet. We have Quicksilver. He's gonna try and grab maybe another 2 more laps here. So Morris is in the pits as well. Gavin is also on the track right now. So it's going to be quite interesting to see if the guys can improve. Because Morris is still a second behind Rockstar Mall. So looks like we're busy battling with the BMWs here tonight. Right now it's just Ford, not Porsche, BMW. Then it's Ford, Porsche, Ford, BMW. So looks like the Fords are dominating here in the wet weather in Alpha tier. So this is going to be very interesting. Does Gavin improve? No, he does not. Still 2.2 seconds behind pole. So as you see, Rockstar Mall is out on the track, so we're going to see if we can grab that one last lap to secure his pole. because Quicksilver is on an outer lap right now. Let's see if we can improve. A 129.3. That is a quick time in the wait. So the top three drivers all in the 129. Morris is battling a bit here today. He's in the 130s. So I wonder if he's got more of a dry setup with that BMW. But still, it's a long race. Yeah. Every point counts, and especially with him right now laying in third, every point will count. And if Rockstar stays there, he could improve his championship points even more. But we'll see if we have team orders here, because Quicksilver and Rockstar are teammates. So for the team, doesn't look like anyone else has really improved. Everyone's in the pits. 31 seconds left. Gavin is out. He's just caught that lap. 25 seconds left. Brandon not gonna make it. Insomnia not gonna make it. Dylan has got 16 seconds. He could be on a hot lap here, so it's gonna be very interesting to see if he can improve it, because he has got a 4.3 second difference there. And that is qualifying up, so Dylan just outbraking himself there. And we are now on Vaughan. Let's see if he can improve himself. He is laying in 9th place. He's 4.5 seconds off the pace. So it doesn't look like anyone else has improved right now. So we still have Rockstar Mall in first place, Quicksilver in second. Third we have Stalls. Fourth we have Marius. Gavin in fifth. Sixth Brandon. And then Insomnia in seventh. Eighth is Dole. 9 is Vaughan. And then we have Jakes in 10th place. So Jakes is not able to improve his time there. He's 4.7 seconds off the gap there. So again, maybe he's Vaughan losing it there, but okay, so that is the Alpha Tier qualifying all done and dusted. So we have Rockstar, Mark, Quicksilver, Stalls, Marius, Gavin, Brandon, Skills, Insomnia, Dylan, Vaughan, Heels, and Jakes. The top three drivers are very close there. Marius is in fourth, so it's going to be a tough race out there for him to come past the cars there. And Rockstar Mark has a grid place penalty, so he forfeits his pole position and drops down to second. So we have Quicksilver in pole position right now. Waiting for the boys to do their setup for their race, get all their pit strategies up and running, because everyone has to have a mandatory pit stop. The question is, when do they do that? Yeah, well, the sync is now up there, so the guys are all ready to rock and roll in the Alpha race. So the guys will do their rolling start. Find that this is a lot better than just jumping off the grid there, piling up in the first corner, wrecking your race that you spend hours on a setup. So the guys will probably get around you quickly, keep the heat in the tires and the brakes, because it's very important to keep the heat in the tires and your brakes. Because there's no use having hot tires and cold brakes going into the first corner and not able to stop. So we to those Fords with a red, white, and black, and then we have Stalls in a red and black. Then we have wonderful Marius in his black BMW with his light blue, dark blue, red stripes. Then we have Gavin in the Ford with his famous Ford GTE stripes. Then we have Brando in the black version of the GT stripes, and Insomnia, I think he's just got the black version, yeah. And then we have Dylan in the well-known GT3 Porsche colors, and then we have Vaughan Hill in his white and blue stripes, and then we have Jakes in his all-American muscle. Can he do it today? Let's see. Guys should be getting very close to the start. So the guys are going to start backing up here. I'm waiting for the countdown on Quicksilver to get the race going. So he will bunch them all up here. Make sure they are all in a safe distance. And there we go, we have race off in Alpha tier. First corner looks like Quicksilver's got a nice start there. Morris defending, or is he attacking? Yeah, man, Morris is attacking there, so he's promoted himself to third place right now. So it looks like maybe with a little bit of heavier fuel load, he has got a better car there. Or is he just playing mind games with everyone? It looks like Dylan has also improved. He's also got a place up, but everyone is all over the back of that Porsche. Oh, going a little bit wide there. 1-0 on the attack. Taking a little bit of curve there. Long race, 28 laps. Got stalls. Oh, there's a big bunch up there. Through the middle. A little bit of contact. Well disciplined driving from the three drivers there. Stalls sticking his nose in there. He's not giving up without a fight. It looks like that is Brandon Skills and Gav. So Stalls going a little bit wide, leaving the door open for Brandon. Can Brandon get? No, he can't. Star's got the drive up there. Look at that overspray on this track. Wow. This is literally only lap 2 of the race. Looks like the rain is still coming down heavily. Was that Gavin? Gavin trying to make a move on Brandon Skills. Look, Insomnia's got a bit of a problem here, dropping down to 9th place. Dylan on the attack of Brandon, taking the inside line. It looked like Brandon has kept his place there, but it's still a long straight. Looked like Insomnia coming back with a big attack there. On the brakes on the back of the bumper of Dylan. So Dylan is a bit under pressure coming down to this wonderful sharp corner. And looked like he backed out there a bit. Still waiting patiently. So this is a 8th place for Dole right now, defending off Insomnia. Insomnia looked like he had a bad drive out of the final corner there. Jake's hanging back, not very aggressive driving right now. I think he's just taking it a little bit easy. I think he's got more of a dry setup, but he knows he just has to keep up here with everyone else. But it looks like Rockstar Mall is on the attack. Rockstar Mall have been very cautious in their weight. And we have Marius very hot on the heels there in his famous BMW, his black BMW. Well, let's see the speed difference between these two. It's going to be quite close, I think. So Rockstar getting about 227, 228. Looks like the BM is hanging with the Ford there very nicely. So it'd be very interesting to see what they do. Team Order is going to come in, and is he going to hold Marius back? Is going to give him a bit of a gap for Quicksilver to pull a little bit of a lead. Because I'm sure that BMW is just waiting for those slick tires to come on so he can put the hammer down. It looks like Morris is catching up very nicely on Rockstar Mall. Taking it cautiously and not taking too much of a risk there. So we have a bit of a challenge here. It looks like Dylan and Vaughan Hills. Look like those three cars are very close to each other. This is for 4th place. Busy piling the pressure on there. And I wonder if Stoles did a mistake now, because he was in 3rd place, dropped down to 1st. So I wonder if he just did a little of a mistake. Not much happening yet. It's a very stalemate race right now. But the chase is on for 2nd place. Only 0.5 of a second behind 2nd. It looks like he has closed up the gap there. So let's see what this BMW can do down the straight, because we saw Rockstar Mall at 228 at top speed. So yeah, 228, 229. So they are pretty matched when they come down that straight. I don't think there's much of a difference between the cars yet, you know. I think it's all driving skills and who can handle the wet weather. That is the question. Who can just hang on there a little bit longer, wait for that bit of dry track, put on those slicks and come out, and then start racing your shoes off. Still doesn't look like the track is drying up at any time soon. As you see there, he's starting to puddle up on the track. But nothing to affect the drivers just yet. Morris, he knows how to be patient right now. Right now we have Quicksilver in first place. Oh, Lonely and Bori out there. He's 2.6 seconds ahead of Rockstar Mall. That is trying to defend off Marius, and Marius is right behind him. So I wonder if he did a little bit of a mistake, because now this is going to give Marius a good run down, but I don't think he's going to take it. Looks a little bit far away, and there we see the puddles coming up. So this is where the penalties are still going to come on, because it's going to push your car and force you into a mistake. Looks like Quicksilver locked up there. He's driving a little bit too hard. Morris is on the charge. It's going to have the long way around the track. Quicksilver, Rockstar Miles got the inside line. But Morris is going to be tucked in right underneath him. We are on lap 8. It is starting to get interesting now, boys and girls. Right now, these two are putting all the pressure on each other. Rockstar Mall with a few mistakes. Oh, going a little bit wide on the grass. Lucky that didn't cost him too much, but it just means Morris is now even closer. So we're going to wait and see if he's going to have a lunge onto this wonderful long straight. Does he have a better exiting out of there? Looks like he's got a bit of a tighter line than Rockstar Mall. And it looks like he's a bit far back. It looks like Rockstar Mall still had a good drive out of the corner. It looks like we have Gab is right behind Marius, also on the attack. So we have two cars fighting for second place right now. So this is right now anyone's race. It looks like Quicksilver is actually just stretched out a little bit. He's got a 3.3 second gap. And Morris so close onto Rockstar Mall, looking for the gap. Excuse me. No, Rockstar Mall did a mistake there. So Morris will go through. Does Gab also find a place? No, he doesn't. He's a little bit far back. I think one of the pedals on that corner probably caught him out a little bit. But now we're going to see Morris is going to be on the charge because he's brought that gap down. No, it's 3.2 seconds now. Gavin is 1.7 seconds behind Marius. So Rockstar Mall dropping a little bit further back now. He's in 4th place. And then we have Vaughan Hill in 5th, Dylan in 6th, Brandon in 7th, Stoles in 8th with Insomnia on the attack here. So these 3 cars are all fighting for a place here. The race is still far from over. Insomnia looking on the inside, backing out a little bit, being patient, waiting, playing the patient game. Jax has got a bit of a lonely race there all by the back. He's battling very badly tonight. Not what I know of Jax. He's normally in the top 5 there, so a little bit of a disappointing start. So he's 30 seconds behind first. But it looks like Morris has closed that gap down. It's now 3.1 seconds, so he is closing that gap. But I think the track is also starting to dry out a little bit. The rain doesn't look as hard. So it does look like it's that time of the race where the track is not too wet, but it's still wet for tires. Wet for wet weather tires. And that puddle can really be a coconut turning if you get it all wrong. Okay, Morris is on the charge. He's got it down to 2.5 seconds now. He's definitely on the charge of that first place. It looks like we have Insomnia and Dylan fighting for a place here. Look like Stalls and Insomnia are busy having a good dice here in this Alpha tier battle. So it does look like the rain is starting to subside a little bit, but the track is still wet. I don't think dry enough for slicks just yet. We're going to see who's going to be that first car to put on slicks. Come out there and see how dry the track is for them. Oh, Stoll's making a little bit of a mistake there. I think that puddle caught him a little bit. Let's go to the front of the pack here because it's now 1.6 seconds. So Morris is on the charge here. He is closing up on Quicksilver, who is in first place. So playing the patient game. As you can see, the track is drying out. No one has come into the pits just yet. We're only on lap 12 right now of 28 laps. Other one to watch out for is Rockstar Mall. Looks like he's catching up on to Gav here. As you can see, it looks like the track is busy drying up there because as we saw Rockstar Mall getting his car to 232 down that straight, so looks like he can put down the power a little bit more now. Still very cautious through there. That's where he lost his second place. I should say, started losing his second place. Did he do a mistake? It looks like he's just dropped down. So it doesn't look like he's picked up any damage. Maybe just a little bit of a mistake. And then there goes Stoles into the pits. So lap 12, he's coming in to put his dry tires on. A little bit of a long pit stop this. So he's the first Alpha driver to actually come out and put slick tires on. So this is going to be very interesting. He still stays ahead of Jake's. And it looks like Jake's is going to be lap right now. Because that is first and second right on top of each other. So the track is definitely drying out here, which the BMW looks like it's been set up more for the dry than the wet. But Morris, the driver that he is, he's a machine and a half. Don't take it away from him. Quicksilver just needs to keep it all smooth, and looks like he's just gone into the pits. Yeah, Quicksilver has just gone into the pits to put dry tires on. So this is going to be very interesting. So he puts it on lap 13. And then Rockstar Mall, so the two teammates are going to come out. Let's see where they all slot out, because there goes Brandon. So Quicksilver busy leaving. Where does he slot up? Behind Insomnia? Insomnia just goes past him, so doesn't lose too much there. So Morris now in the lead with a 3.9 second gap to Gavin. Is it enough to stay in front? Because Quicksilver is going to be now on the hunt. He's only in third place. Ooh, looks like a little bit of a lock-up there. The track drying out quite a bit now, so I think this Ford is going to come alive down the straight. Taking it easy through that puddle. That puddle can mess up your whole race if you get that wrong. Horace in first place. Still hasn't put it yet. But Gavin is in the pits now. Brandon will go past, so he loses second place. And Vaughan Hill in the pits as well. So looks like Quicksilver has moved up into fourth, third. So yes, Insomnia also one of the drivers that haven't pitted yet. So Insomnia, Marius, and Brandon still need to pit. I think Dylan needs to pit and Jakes needs to pit. And then we see, as I say that, Dylan in the pits. So Stolz has jumped Dylan in the pits, doing the undercut there very nicely. But now the question is, when is Morris is in the pits. This is going to be very interesting because Quicksilver still coming up. So is this enough to keep his first? As you see, Brandon Skills is coming towards the main straight now. on the main straight. Does he pit? No. Yes, he does. So he's in the pits. And there goes Morris. It looks like Morris is just not done enough to keep his first. Insomnia in third. Coming out of the pits. This is going to be very tight. Okay. So Insomnia in third. But I don't think he's done a pit stop yet, if I'm correct. It looks like we've lost a driver. Wonder what happened there. Was that Dylan? It looks like we did lose Dylan. I wonder what happened there.
Hello, Stephen.
G'day, Dill. Why am I talking to you and why are you not racing?
Well, I thought before I go and throw my steering wheel through the screen,
Yeah.
I went into the pits to put on the tires and it never changed my tires. And I checked it twice to make sure that I'd selected the right pit stop with the right tires and everything was perfect. So I have absolutely no idea why I didn't change my tires. So I went back out onto the track with overheated tires and that was the end of that. I ended up spinning off.
Oh man, that is so heartbreaking when stuff like that happens.
100%. But nevertheless, what tricky conditions is all I can say. Man, oh man, the puddles that are going across the track, especially at least about 5 laps ago, it was extremely difficult. But as the track is starting to dry up, it is making the conditions a little bit more interesting. A lot of the drivers now choosing to go onto a softer tire. We've gotten rid of the wets, but there are still some of those wet patches that can catch you out. And I think the guys are going to be in for a very interesting last 11 laps.
Man, oh man, this is going to be a race to the end. It looks like Quicksilver has got more of a dry setup car where Morris was very close behind him, but he's pulled a 3.5 second gap right now. And it looks like he's extending that gap right now. So he's not here to take any chances. He's here to prove a point. He's not in the lead of the championship off. Look, he's making sure he's there for a reason.
You could actually see the water across the track there as Morris runs a little bit wide coming out of the S's and still kicking up water. So the conditions are still extremely tricky. There's a nice big puddle on the inside of the curb there. A lot of the drivers are actually getting up onto the curb. I was doing it myself because what it does is it basically just pulls your car through and allows the car to rotate nicely there.
Okay. It looks like Jake is not having a night here tonight because he's still in 9th place. Unless his son's racing in his name, but yeah, this is not the Jakes that we know, unless he doesn't like Donnington very much.
No, I'm not sure. Even in the qualifying, just wasn't able to get in those fast times.
Yeah, I saw that.
But I see that I was having a nice little battle with the Heels brothers, and the two of them are pretty close together at this stage. We've got Vaughan in 5th and Brandon in 6th. I was quite close behind these two white GT40s. It was actually quite a lot of fun. I must be honest, I did feel like I was being held up by Vaughan a little bit and I had to come off the power once or twice there, and which is not really easy to do, especially when you're hitting the brakes and it is so unsettled in the wet. But Vaughan doing extremely well here, got himself into 5th place, and he's actually closing up on Gavin, who's slightly ahead of him.
Yes.
So
it looks like he had more of a dry setup because Vaughan Neal didn't look that great in the wet. So I think maybe he's sacrificed a little bit of the wet to have a better drive, but it looks like he's catching up on Gavin, hooking up onto the back there. A bit of a flash of the lights there.
Yeah. Oh, you can see how that rear just kicked up there for Gavin as he just touched that puddle. And Vaughan, I'm sure, is going to make Gavin's life very difficult. But there might be some team orders coming through here a little bit later on. and Vaughan getting that call to say, please go past Gavin, and then Gavin getting his call to say, please let Vaughan pass.
Yeah, it looks like Vaughan with a better car right now, because he's stuck all over the back of Gavin there. So I wonder if just the pressure is a bit too much for Gavin right now, or he hasn't spent enough time on the track.
Well, all I can tell you is what's going to happen is there's Brandon Hills in 6th place, so he's now closing up onto these two as well. You can see your Vaughan just about going side by side up the corner there, and you don't want to be touching there because it will spit you out on the mud, and that mud, when it is wet, it is so difficult to get yourself some traction there.
Yeah. And Brandon with a little bit of a flash to say, I'm coming, boys. Ooh.
Gavin just getting it a little bit wrong, going into the chicane. So that releases the two Hills brothers ahead of him. So Vaughan, he now goes up into... Oh,
no, Vaughan dropped.
It was Brandon that went up.
Yes.
So was that Vaughan that made that mistake?
Yeah, it looked like Vaughan made the mistake, coming a little bit too hot in there. That puddle caught him out.
Yeah,
but now we have the 3 drivers now fighting for 5th place.
I must say that little chicane through the S's is extremely tricky with the water there, right on that braking point. So only 8 laps left to go. And out in front we do have Durkee, who's starting to open up 3.5 seconds now, 4 seconds ahead of himself and Morris. Oh, it looks like Morris is dropping down the order there, so he's now dropped down to 3rd. With Rockstar Mal, he's now up into 2nd place, and Morris now down into 3rd. But look at this, back to the battle of the racing butts. And we've got Vaughan, who's back up ahead of Gavin and putting all bunch of pressure on the back of his brother in front of him. And this is definitely going to be a race for pride to see who the fastest Hills is on the planet. Going side by side, we saw Vaughan in this position earlier on, and there's a lot more water on the outside there. As Vaughan just able to get him. Gavin looks like that rear snapped out and basically pushed the nose into the right direction, which is actually the wrong direction. You should be going left.
I think his Garmin is busy telling him the short version.
Well, I think that Garmin's saying do a U-turn in approximately 20 meters. But an absolute cracker of a battle here between the Hills brothers, instead of Vaughan brothers.
The Vaughan brothers.
7 laps left to go. And up here through turn number 1, that curb on the outside, very slippery when it's wet. Title of the 6 tape, but now they head down turn number 2 through Craner curves, and in the wet, flat out through there is definitely for the brave. I did find myself just tapping off a little bit now and then, just to make sure that that car was stable before I got back on the power.
Yeah, we saw Rockstar Mall maybe pushing a little bit too hard in the wet, because that's where he lost his place. So, yeah, in the wet it's a little bit tricky to say which is the right line to be in right now. So I think it's more like feel your way around the track, tiptoe, but then don't drive too slow.
Yeah, just during the wet, the whole idea is just to keep it between the white lines. If you're touching curbs, they're very slippery and sticky. Slippery and slippery. Very slippery. Yes, what happened there? Anyway, very slippery, so you want to stay off there. I'd say that's the only curb that you're really going to want to touch. It does help rotate the car. Note for yourself for a little bit later, Stephen.
Thank you very much. Noted.
But stay off the curbs on the exits, because it will catch you. So we've got 6 laps left. And I must say, in the rolling start, I was a little bit concerned that the tyre might lose a bit of heat, but by the time we got going, those temperatures were absolutely spot on. So I was able to give it gas. But man, oh man, when you Down in 8th place, following 8 cars. The spray is absolutely incredible.
I'm sure. Don't worry, we recorded some of the spray. I think it was already on lap 2 or lap 3. So the spray is very thick.
So it does look
So
like
Brandon,
yeah, so I was going to say Brandon is just a little bit of a gap ahead of his brother, but Vaughn is coming back now.
but just there in the back, we have Stolz trying to catch up there. So
That's Robert, yeah.
could be another car challenging for 4th.
Oh, Brandon goes wide. You can see Vaughn got a much better exit there. So that's definitely going to close him up. Now they're going to
Have
go
a
into
run.
the last corner. We're going to get the power down and let that drive happen in a straight line and not squirreling and stepping out for you. See, look, another little river crossing the road there. So the guys will be hitting that, waiting to go through that before touching the brakes. And as the sun starts going down, the track conditions start getting cooler, the tires start getting colder, and that grip just starts fading away ever so slightly.
Yeah, very tricky race this. Be very patient.
And you can see there's still puddles out on the runoff there, so you don't want to go off. You can just see how those cars. Vaughn just manages to catch it. But he was
It could have been ugly.
Robert in the background there, just going a little bit too deep. And he unfortunately losing a little bit of time to the 2 drivers in front of him. But Brandon in a 4th place, Vaughn in 5th. And out in front, Durkee now just under 5 seconds is the gap between himself and his teammate, Maljacques. So there is Maljacques, and Marius currently in a 3rd place. Was very, very strong in the wet, but it just seems as they've gone into the dry setups, the Ford GTs or GT40s are just so strong.
Yeah.
And unfortunately just pulling that gap away from Marius.
So Brendan still in 4th place. Vaughn backed off a bit there. So I think with his mistake, he's got a bit of work to do. He's got 4 laps to catch up and challenge for the 4th place.
Yeah, Brandon went 127.6 there, so he was well, I was going to say the fastest, but he missed that out by 0.1 of a second there between himself and Maljacques, where Vaughn was 28.9, so 0.7 of a second there was the difference in terms of those lap times. So I'm sure that Brandon is very happy currently with his performance now, being able to just keep his brother at bay.
Just there looking in the back, it looked like Vaughn did a bit of a mistake. And if he just outbraked himself, or that puddle threw him off again.
So Vaughn crosses the line to do his 25th lap out of 28. So to everyone who is on the stream, the Brabatier invites will be coming out shortly. And we hope that you stick around and watch the next round for the Brabatier. It's going to be an absolute cracker. Whoever finishes on top between Stephen, Christo and Tyler will be crowned the SARCO champion. And I'm fortunate enough to have a camera on Stephen, and I see he's just staring into space, gathering his thoughts.
I'm collecting myself.
Oof. that braking point. You can just see how the nose just pushes. So you kind of aim it in for the apex and hit the brakes and just pray that the car's going to stop. So Vaughan coming through the last corner.
Losing the rear end a little bit there.
That's going to be a huge opportunity there for Robert. And Robert should have the momentum to have a look around the outside. But Vaughan just going to squeeze him. So Vaughan's going to have his work now cut out for him. Robert Salt's going to be putting a huge amount of pressure for the next 3 laps. And I must say, the old that old hairpin going down the hill there through turn number 4, when you get it right, it is so awesome. Just hit that braking point, turn in, accelerate, just clip the inside curb, and it just lets you ever so gently kiss the outside. And man, oh man, do you get such a good run going back up the hill.
Yeah, it's about getting that turn right is the key word.
So I was actually quite interested there to see that when Robert got onto the brakes, you can see that he doesn't brake all the way. You can see he's using about half brakes there.
And then just coasting it around.
Just coast it around. Then once that car is pointing in a straight line, get the power down.
Yeah, at 1.7 liters of fuel. So I wonder if he made a little bit of a oopsie with his pit stop.
Well, let's see if that fuel goes up. It looks like they're putting tires on as well. So an absolute disaster there for Robert. But all of a sudden it went from 1.5 to 2.5.
Yeah. So I think he was going to run a little bit short on fuel there.
So it looks like he's put in a lap of fuel.
Man, that's a bit disappointing.
But I don't think that's going to be enough, because that's only 2.3 liters. That's if that measurement is correct. So I think what we can do is jump to our race leader.
And there's our race leader.
So not much screen time there for Durkee out in front. I'm about to say, and as we jump to him, he just about runs around the outside. You can see Mal Jacques. He's 2.2 seconds behind him. So he has been able to close up that gap as the last couple of laps have been going. But you can see there Durkee also just feathering that throttle on the way up. Just making sure that he isn't giving it full gas, not spinning up those rears, because you can see no traction control on there for Durkee. Yes, he goes very wide, and Jacques is going to sneak up on the inside. A little flash there from Durkee, allowing this teammate through. But now the question is, are there going to be team orders from Jacques to give Durkee the win? Or is this just a matter of the pride between the two teammates? So then I head up towards turn number 12. That's Goddard. Turn number 12. Jacques goes wide, and there's a BMW up against the wall. I think that is Jake's. So Durkee will cross the line in second place, second to his teammate.
Wow, what a race.
And that will ensure that Durkee is crowned the SARCO champion once again here in the Alpha tier. And not only Durkee, But then Marius, he will also remain in the podium, and it's all going to be up to those final points, because a second place there for Dirkie, third place for Marius. Brandon Hills, he comes home in fourth place ahead of Vaughan in fifth position. Then Gavin, he will come home in sixth place with Louis in seventh, Robert down in eighth, having to go and take another pit stop, and then Jake's down in ninth position.
Had a bit of a tough race there for Jakes. And he runs out of fuel again before the end of the race.
Yep. We did think that Robert didn't have enough fuel with only 2.5 litres having gone in. But I see that.
But I saw him pit again, so I wonder what went wrong there. It's a bit of a bummer, that one.
Yeah, it definitely looks like Robert has run out of fuel on the last lap. Can you believe it?
Man, oh man.
So I do see that the invites for the Alpha tier, for the Bravo tier, have come out.
Yes. So I'm gonna love and leave you and meet you that side.
100%.
Enjoy.
Yeah, thanks.
Good day, ladies and gents.
Is the commentator just done?
Yeah, tell me about it. Just give me 2 minutes of busy now.
Hallo.
Dylan, what are you?
Dylan, my word.
Director.
Yes, Tyler.
Yes, Tyler.
Did I miss anyone? Because I don't have a list to work off.
Good evening, good evening. Welcome, Jacques.
Can you hear me, Dylan?
Yes, I can hear you, Dirkie.
Can you hear me, Dylan?
I can hear you, Jacques. Mooi man.
Steven?
Yeah, I hear you.
Did I miss anyone?
I just got some voices coming through my head. Let's just get rid of those quickly. So let's go to Morris has just joined us. Evening, Morris. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Awesome. So
Comps.
cool.
Why does it want to video me? Okay, I don't know what's going on. I don't have video for the moment.
Okay, no worries. Let's start off with you. Very, very strong in the wet in your BMW, and then it just seemed like as soon as the track dried up and the Ford GTs got stuck in the dry, it just seemed very difficult to keep up with them.
No, the Fords were in general very fast today. I thought I could get closer to Dirkie in the wet and then kind of just stick to him. But as soon as I went onto the dry tires, things didn't go so smooth, and I made a little mistake there. Lost the rear. It snapped on me, and Jacques passed me there in the last couple of laps. I don't even know which lap, but it was very enjoyable. It was a hard race, but a good one.
Look, with me starting in 8th, going down that hill, this amount of spray that was up there, man, oh man. Thanks, guys, for that. Let's go to you, Jacques. So, winner of the race. Thanks to your teammate making a little bit of an oopsie there right at the end. We honestly thought that you'd pull a bit of team orders and move over and give him the win, but it seems like, yeah, dit gaan nie probeer nie, hoe gebeur nie.
Yeah, I must say my setup in the wet wasn't on par, but I know in the dry I'm quick. So, but yeah, it was tough, and yeah, Marius pushed me hard in those wet laps. I couldn't defend anymore to let Dirkie get a gap, but yeah, at the end of the day, it was still a lekker race.
It was good fun.
Absolutely awesome. Let's go to you, Dirkie. So second place for the evening, but more importantly, the SARCO championship under your belt. Happy to be a champion once again?
Yeah, I think it's only my third one in all the years, so I'm extremely happy about it. It was hard work, and me and Job worked very hard together with the setups. Yeah, about 3 days a week, plus minus, and we really got that Ford running well and sorted it out. It was very difficult on tires, so it was a big challenge for us. And but Marius also pushed me right to the end. If it wasn't for the last race where he had bad luck, I would have been under more pressure tonight. But yeah, it was a bit bad luck for him there. But yes, I'm happy with first place, and that oopsie wasn't really an oopsie. I gave my teammate that space because he needed the points.
I see.
Yeah, so it was a bit of team orders from the pits.
So there was a
yeah.
Dirkie, this is Toto, please move over.
That's why I greeted him with my headlights when he went past.
Okay. No, it all makes sense. Absolutely fantastic, guys. Thank you so much for an awesome season. It was a bit of ups and downs in terms of the stream, but we definitely will get everything sorted for the new season. So really looking forward to seeing you. With that, guys, I'm going to jump off and say goodbye, and we're going to get onto that privateer.
Yeah.
Well done, guys.
Dylan, yeah, thanks for the championship.
Jacques and his lads.
This was a fun championship. It was great. I had loads of fun. And Dirkie definitely deserves that win. The less mistakes, that's what counts. You had a perfect series. Perfect one. Well done, guys.
100%.
Thanks,
guys, don't forget to tune into the Bravo tier now. The top 3, whoever wins is the champion. It's going to be an absolute cracker.
I'm going to watch that one, definitely.
Cheers, guys.
Good
Thank
luck.
you so much. Ciao, bye.
Okay.
Yes.
Bye.
Okay, shall we go?
Tyler, let's go.
Back.
Good day, Jacques. Good day. Let me just get this up. Thank you, Jacques. I just kind of threw you in the hot box there. but at least now.
This corner.
But you must just leave your lights on there so everybody can see you. Let's just share that screen. There you go. So now at least you can see exactly what I'm seeing. So to everyone who has just joined us here for the Bravo tier, all I can say is what a crazy evening this is going to be tonight. And the reason I say that is that if we look at the top 3 positions in terms of the points, right at the top we do have Christo, who's currently based in Norway, 280 points for him. Second place is Tyler Scott, the man currently in picture, with 276, so only 4 points is the difference there. Then my fellow teammate and commentary partner for the season, this season, is Stephen, 272. That is 8 points separating first, second, and third, with a win, 60 points. Second place, 50 points. So that is 10 points is the swing there. And Jacques, any one of these 3 are able to take the victory this evening.
Yeah, but I must say the wet is tough. Turkey had a lacquer setup in the wet, but I couldn't drive that setup. But yeah, yeah, and I think Tyler will be doing not too bad. He was a bit in our Rockstar stable over the weekend.
So it wasn't cookies and cream, eh? Because I'm sure that's the one that Dirkie was driving this evening.
Yeah, no, I think Tyler is on the Boerewors and Hotdog one. So quite a more stiff suspension. But yeah.
So the cookies and cream is a lot softer and a lot sweeter, right?
Yeah.
The Boerewors and hot dogs, that's a little bit stiffer and for a real man. Yeah, I must say, the puddles on this track, man oh man. Also saw that you pitted quite early. I was actually quite surprised. I think you were one of the first to pit out of everybody. You probably struggled for about 2 laps trying to just keep that car going in a straight line.
Me and Dirkie decided end of 12. Then we can at least try and get the softs up to temperature, and then we must just remember that last chicane, that puddle there, first couple of laps, rather take it in second and after that third gear. So, and also adjust the brake pressure back to 56.
Yeah, Dirkie did say that it seems like the whole of the Volga River was flowing across that part of the track in our conversations we were having last night, and I could not agree with him anymore.
Yeah, and especially that last hairpin as well, or the second last one. It's better almost to take on the inside line, that your right side wheels touch that curb, then you get almost a better turnaround there.
100%. So that was definitely one of the things that I was doing. You get the car right up on that curb and it kind of just helps you rotate, but then as the car gets back onto the tar gate, it kind of just throws itself out to the outside, and you can squeeze that power on quite aggressively, and it all seems to have worked. So guys, we've got 5 minutes left of the qualifying, and currently Christo out on top with a 130.8, Tyler second place 132.6, Stephen 132.9. And it is the battle of the 2 Porsches versus Tyler in his GT40. Then we got Brandon Dos Santos in 4th place, and you can see how close that time is between himself and Steven. Then 0.6 further down the field is Rudy. Rudy in 5th place. We'll slide Pete in a 6th position. Then we have Duncan in a 7th place, 134.5 there for him. Then James, he's in 8th place, with Dane down in 9th. And then Colin in 10th place. I think he's still trying to get a lap in there. Ooh.
And we also noticed after about, say, 5 minutes or so, then the track is actually too wet to do a proper qualifying time.
That was a part of my problem. I got myself caught up in some traffic, then tried to slow down and then invalidated my lap, and then by that time they ain't going to be getting their lap time back. It seemed like now is like where the track is kind of at optimal, because the tires are up to temperature. There's still that bit of a dry line that you can really attack, but then after that it just seems that next lap, the lap time, you're going through the first sector, and all of a sudden I was like down 0.8. Like, jeez, didn't feel like I was that slow, but yeah, that's just the reality. And not able to get the traction, it's all what the part of the skill that rain driving has to bring.
Yeah, it's not like in the rain, I'm honest. I don't like it.
Yeah, because what happens, it feels like your boda kruip the seat the hele tyd.
Yeah, when I got up to get the lights, I almost was walking around with the recals.
Jy moet 'n bietjie versigtig wees om my G-string te draai. Jy gaan jy die hele ding net sommer eet.
Yeah, no.
Alright guys, if you are still with us, enjoying the rubbish that we are saying, don't forget you're able to go and follow us on Facebook as well as on YouTube. Just having a look at some of the comments that have come through. Let's just get this up. Guys, so if you are still there and you are watching, drop us a chat. We always love hearing from you. We got Morris Bortma saying, go guys, enjoy. Adrian Bond saying, go Bravo, it looks slippery out there. Jeez, like, Adrian, you're not kidding. Just had some of my happiness and kicking back and watching. Adrian, well done, thanks for joining us, really appreciate it, man. Quite sad that we have lost you to the PC side of things, but keep that PS nice and warm, and every now and again come and have a go. Unless you haven't sold it. Let's have a look at what's happening in Facebook. The question is when to put on the softs. Well, Pete, I would have told you, it seems like it was round about lap number 15, I'd say. But rather do 14 because I unfortunately had spun due to heating tires. Did manage to catch it, but by the time I'd gone in, didn't change my tires in the pits. Yes, I was so irritated, nevertheless. Peter Brandt saying, good luck guys, enjoy the race, paddles after 12. Daniel Morales, so Daniel War Machine Morales, he's saying 4 GT, let's go, indeed. Ooh, Christo is having a moment there. That was very strange. I almost had a little apoplexy there. Marshall Steve the Flum, he's saying, Lacquer boys, have a good one, flat out. Thanks Marshall, good luck out there in the rain. Watch the boat. So 30 seconds left of this qualifying, and the current qualifying positions are Christo out in front, then it is Tyler in a second place, then it is Stephen, Brandon, Rudy, Pete, Duncan, James, Dane, and then Colin. So Jacques, 28, well, effectively 27 laps in the rain. Who do you put your money on this race this evening?
Well, I hope Tyler keeps it together.
There's only,
so
8 points. Okay, so I suppose you... Well then, if you're going to back the Ford GTs, the GT40s, I'm definitely going to back the Porsches. Luckily enough for me, is I've got 2 that I can bank my...
Oh, so you're not sure yet, so whoever's the front, and you said I bet actually on that one.
Whichever of the 2 Porsches is ahead. No. Okay, in all honesty, I have spent some time with Steven helping him out there, so if he's able to just keep his head down, keep that car circulating. But then, look, the reality is Brandon's there as well. Anything can happen. You can have a spin-off, get stuck in the puddles, trying to get back on the track. You can lose yourself 10 seconds and anything can happen. So I'm going to be backing Stephen here. He is part of the Green Mamba family, and I wish him the best of luck. But all I can say is may the best driver win.
No, that's all. I'd rather drive safe than try and push too hard and make more mistakes. Sorry, but yeah, big mistakes.
And that's the thing, is that if you do make a mistake here, the mistake is massive.
Big. Yeah.
So guys, just remember the first lap is just an out lap. I must say, since we've done that, our turn 1 incidents definitely have reduced. But also, you know, you start driving a season with the drivers, and you kind of know what they're going to do, what to expect, where you can have a go and where you shouldn't. But the driving this season has been really good, I must say.
Dylan, just give me 5 minutes. I just quickly want to get some refreshments.
Not a problem at all. So that was the synchronizing we're just waiting for, so the guys will just pull off nice and easy off the line. They will go into a formation lap. So while we're able to do that, let's just pick up on some more comments coming through. AD going, what's up Dylan? Yep, sold it last week Thursday. Did not think it would go that fast, otherwise we would be racing. Would have been awesome to have you with us, AD, on the last race for the season. AD's backing Tyler. Have to say that James and cutting beef, and then as well there's that his thoughts on the winning the race this evening is on Tyler is a fast in the rain. Well, you might be fast in the rain, but it's all about keeping it together. That is the key. And 28 laps left to go. Minus the 1 out lap, so a race of 27 laps. We are here at the Donnington Park. It is the GP circuit, so we do have at the S's we do turn left at turn number 10, which then sends us down to the Melbourne hairpin at turn number 11, then back up to Goddard's for that final hairpin, then back towards the start finish line on the Wheatcroft straight. So 12 corners in total. The track layout is 2.4 miles or 4.02 kilometers, and it is in Donnington Park. And man oh man, in the wet it is extremely tight, it is extremely tricky, and we are really in for an absolute crack of a race here this evening. As Christo, our pole sitter, he leads the field up. He'll start just slowing down ever so slightly, just making sure that the guys are able to get closer. And currently, interestingly enough, is that this is how they are racing. The top 3 are currently in the positions for the start, and Christo has jumps off the line, and he's now got himself into a first place, with Tyler getting a little bit of pressure on the inside by Brandon dos Santos. But it does look like Tyler might have been able to get by as Stephen runs himself a little bit wide. And now I am getting invitations to Black Ops, which I do definitely not want to go and do. So unfortunately, Stephen are dropping back down the order. Brandon dos Santos, he's now got himself up into 3rd place. Rudy in 4th. You can just hear that rumble of that Corvette as they head up towards the hill. Oh, Brandon just losing that rear, so he's going to have a whole bunch of cars going past him. So Brandon now dropping down, just jumping now to the front, and Christo starting to open that gap between himself and Tyler, and you can just see... Ooh. Sorry guys, apologies, my machine has just been disconnected. So I'm currently going back in the lobby. Sorry about that guys, but it does look like, there we go, so the game is reloading. I am going back in. Okay, there we go, so I'm back. So Christo is still out in front, Tyler in second place, then Rudy in third. James in his Aston Martin, he's in fourth place with Duncan in fifth. He's being chased down by Brandon. And then we've got a Dane who has Stephen right behind him. Then a Pete down in ninth. And it looks like we have lost Colin. And Jacques, I don't know if you saw the amounts of puddles that's already starting to collect there as the guys approach the S's.
Yeah, I think with the time progression actually generates a lot quicker than normal qualifying.
It does look like Dane is really struggling to keep that car going in a straight line. You can just see as he was powering up that car was just squibbling left and right. And Rudy is sliding that car into turn number one. But this is where all the current action is. Brandon DeSantos putting a lot of pressure on the back of Duncan. And Duncan just not able to get that car stopped in time, which now allows Brandon to go through. So Brandon and Stephen, they've now been able to get themselves ahead of Duncan. And they're in fourth place. That is James, so he's done well getting his Aston Martin up the field through the mistakes of Stephen and Brandon DeSantos. You can just see him sliding that Aston Martin up the hill, going through McLean's, and now up through Coppice. You can see running a very wide, and then that car just over rotates. Jacques, for you in the GT40, were you trying to run a wider line, or were you trying to also just cut back a little bit there?
No, I tried to cut back because in the rain it's almost as if the penalties is not as harsh as in the dry, so we actually must try and cut where we can, because we know the Ford was a little bit understeer in the wet. So yeah, we took my advantages of all the limits. So
now listen, I can assure you that going through the S's there, I was also thinking, hold on, during a dry race that would not have been allowed. But that's the beauty about putting in the practice, is understanding where those limits are and how far you can push them.
yeah.
So the guys now on to lap number 5, and Christo out in front. He now heads through turn number 6, and 2.3 seconds is that gap between himself and Tyler. And only a 0.1 of a second is the difference between the two lap times. Rudy a 136.4, so he's 0.6 off the pace of the leaders. Just wanted to have a look at Steven. So 137 there for him, so a bit of a mistake. And Brandon a 136.6 for him. So unfortunately, and not being able to match the time of the leaders, but we are still only 5 laps in this 28 lap race, knowing that one of them was a formation lap. And we expect the rain, it does stop around about lap 12, but it is still very tricky. And I suppose that it's that part of the race that can either make or break. You get those softs on too soon, you're not able to get that car under control. Put them on too late, and the adverse happens is that you start burning up those tires, which makes it even worse.
And the other thing is now you have a setup that's got maybe a lot of traction for the wet, so the tires will heat up quicker as soon as you put the softs on. But I must say, Christo's Porsche look rock solid.
Yeah, look, I was fishing a little bit when we were racing at Indianapolis to see where I could get my hands on that setup, and there definitely wasn't anything going to budge there, and rightly so. And you're fighting
they
for
probably closed the pit garage door when you got closer.
I think they saw me coming, close that pit door, and away we go. Let's jump down to a little battle that's starting to get very interesting between the two Porsches. That's down with Steven and Brandon dos Santos. And you can see Steven riding that curb. But then also he's taking that tighter inside line. And Brandon now putting a lot of pressure on James. James currently in 4th place. You can see on the brakes how that rear just wants to overtake the front. And Dirkie absolutely spot on. He's saying the Porsche looks solid this far. Dirkie 100%. I do believe that Christo has got an absolute solid setup as both Brandon dos Santos and Steven get that power on and just not able to get the traction on. The rear just kicks out, and that allows Duncan just to pull a bit of a breather. But now Brandon is right on the back of that Aston Martin once again. A little look to the inside. Is Duncan gone a little bit too wide? Just managing to keep that gap ahead of him. But now here comes Steven, 136.5. So he is the fastest of these three. You can hear how James is riding that car to the limiter. Heard that Corvette go past now. Absolutely phenomenal. What a sound. Just Brandon having a look to the inside, but James is making that Aston very, very wide. Ooh, Steven going a little bit sideways on that power. I think just a little bit too early. But just look at the amounts of standing water that's on the track there already. Ooh, Duncan goes wide. Steven also overcooks it a bit. So Brandon's going to be able to shoot past Duncan on the outside, but Duncan will be able to just close that door from Steven. Steven had to just straighten out ever so slightly. Ooh, as Brandon gets that a little bit wrong as he puts his foot down. And now Duncan coming back, just maintaining that place ahead of Steven. And the thing about when you're so close is that spray does make things so difficult.
Yeah, it's not nice, really. I'd rather back off and wait a bit and go again.
So let's just jump on board with Steven. You can just get a sense of what he's currently seeing. So like here, completely no idea where that braking marker was. As Duncan goes sideways, Steven goes a little bit sideways, and Steven has to just have a little bit of another correction, and now back up the hill, and that rear just so loose. Steven will be able to sneak one up on the inside. They are going to be a side by side as they go up to Coppice, and Stephen is able to get himself through, but goes wide, touches the grass, and that gets Duncan back up. Sorry, not Duncan, James back up into 5th place. So very close and very competitive, but a very, very respectful driving. The guys driving so close, haven't touched each other, and that's exactly what this racing is all about. James goes very deep on the brakes, and you can see Stephen that tight inside line, so they're going to be side by side now.
That's that little puddle there that's starting to form as well. It's basically, you don't know when you want to turn tight or take a deeper line. So
I'll say take it tight, ride the curb. It definitely was working there for me. So we are on a lap number 9, and just a catch up with our race leader, and those comments coming through that that car is so stable, and yes it is. Doesn't have much of that rear sliding. Tyler then in 2nd place, so he too looking really good, but there is that canary yellow Corvette of Rudy's, which I'm sure Tyler's going to start watching very closely in his rearview mirror. But that looked like that's actually part of the line, because it hits the curb and the rear just rotates a bit. You turn into it and then just squeeze the power again, and it just helps stabilize that car. That Corvette does sound absolutely incredible, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, I must say, it's such a low grunt noise.
And there's so much low in torque on that car. So coming out of the corners, it is really, really strong. It is just once it gets up into the top end, unfortunately it does not have the same grunt as the Ford.
Yeah, I must say, that back straight we were hitting, I think, 252 before the brake marker.
I was nowhere near looking at my speed. I was just trying to keep the car going in a straight line.
We need to take a lot of info for our race director.
So your team boss is very hard on you guys, eh?
Yeah, he wants all the info.
So it does look like Rudy is definitely feeling a little bit more comfortable than Tyler. You can see that the lines that Rudy is taking, he's been quite consistent at this point. And I'm still not sure why those guys are taking such a wide line there, because I was already middle track there, not trying to take all that water there. They want to be nice and tight up the curb, because that's that puddle, and you can see that's exactly what Rudy did. He was able to just ride the curb on the inside, and it just about got him a side by side with Tyler. Now they'll head into the last corner, and Tyler not able to get that car turned, so definitely experiencing a bit of exaggerated understeer. And now it's a race to turn number 1. Rudy is going to be on the outside. Tyler will be able to just sneak up on the inside there once again.
I must say, Rudy for a controller, really, it's something else.
Yeah, 100%. He is definitely able to drive that car the way it should be. You can see we're on lap number 11, Jacques, and the rain is still falling. I do think that it actually had slowed down by the time we got to lap number 10, and I was actually able to turn my wipers off, but the rain is actually still falling from the sky. So it looks like these guys are going to have a little bit longer wet a longer wet track than we were experiencing.
Oh well. I just hope their lobby settings are fine and it's not light rain times 2. It's not gonna be nuts.
No, definitely not. So I see that we had Duncan that's gone into the pit, and as Rudy tried to get onto that pile, we can just see how that rear just stepped out, but he was able to catch it.
I think Rudy must do some type of finger exercises to have control over his fingers like that, really.
No, he does 2-finger push-ups, that's what he does.
Yeah, or maybe play with an old typewriter.
Yeah,
Just to get something going.
that could work too. But I must say, having a extremely big canary yellow Corvette in your rearview mirror, Tyler must not
just rip that mirror off now.
100%. Just keep hitting those brake markers, getting the car into the places that are going to make it very tough. But it does seem like that Rudy is able to just get that power on a little bit earlier than what Tyler is. So I think once Rudy gets ahead of and just looking down in 4th and 5th place, Brandon DeSantos 136.4, so he was 0.9 of a second quicker than these two in front. And there's Steven a 135.9, so he was just over 1.5 seconds quicker. And
what times are Krista doing?
Hold on, I just seen that there's been a change in position, because that's Steven now up into 4th place, Brandon now down into 5th. Krista did a 137.5, so he's gone a bit slower this time around, but still 8.5 seconds as Rudy sets himself up for an overtake, goes to the inside. Will Tyler now try and go around the outside? Yeah, so Rudy has been able to make that stick move, so Rudy now up into 2nd place. And it does look like already that Rudy's able to get that pedal down and already starting to open a gap between himself and Tyler.
Or the R2 button down. That's what he's doing. He's pressing down on the R2.
Yeah, you're right. Unless he uses X. That's also an option as he goes wide, but just manages to keep it off the grass. So now that's Tyler's opportunity to get that Ford GT into the rear view mirror of the Corvette. But I must say there isn't much of a mirror there, so you don't really see much.
Yeah, that Ford is so low. You only will see a wing behind it.
But there is a little back camera as Steven makes a mistake, cutting the last chicane there at the S's. And Brandon, the car with the lights on, you can still see how much water is being kicked up on lap number 13, but it does look like the raindrops are starting to slow down. We can see that the sun is starting to come out. So it wasn't too much longer, it was only a lap, but now you can start seeing the dry line starting to form on the track. And this is the question, is that do you take the chance like Jacques did, go in nice and early, or do you try and push those wets as long as you can? But the thing about those wets is that once they let go in a big way.
Yeah, no, they don't ask questions. They just deliver. That's all.
So a message coming through from Dirkie saying time to pit as we see Brandon DeSantos running wide. And Steven, he's just set the fastest sector for sector 1 with a 127.1. So Steven's starting to pick up his pace a little bit. I do see that Christo did a 142.6, so he must have had an off there.
Spike, yeah.
So 5 seconds is the distance now between himself and Rudy. And I'm pretty sure that Rudy will be very happy to be able to see the Porsche now, where he was 10 seconds, so that gap is now just dropped down to half.
I think Christo's probably going to pit now.
But it does still look very wet. But Jacques got it on the man. You can see a big lock up there for Christo. And he kind of just went through somebody else's pit. And there comes his Mannequins.
Rudy in. Tyler also maybe. I see another pit crew at the back.
So there's Rudy also breaking way beyond his pit crew. There's Tyler backwards and forwards. So I just hope that there aren't these weird occurrences actually on the track. But there goes Rudy. Ooh, Rudy is still in the pit, so he's going to exit behind Tyler. And Christo, okay, so Christo is out, but Rudy now behind Tyler with Brandon Dos Santos, our new race leader, knowing that he still has to pit as well as James. The question is that are those wets? Because it looked like there was a tread on the back of those tires.
Of Christo's car.
Of Christo's car, yeah.
Ew, that's a bit not a like a decision.
So I don't know whether it was just a glitch in terms of the car, but yeah, it does look like it's soft because it's got the same pattern as what Rudy has on the side of his car. And Tyler now opening a gap between himself and Rudy. Yeah, that's definitely very tricky in the wet when you're trying to break through the Yuksko River. And
yeah, the best is
you're on softs. So Brandon now gets himself into the pits. And then his pit crew just seems to run away.
That's not nice.
So it is so strange because what I'm seeing on my screen versus what's actually happening on the stream, Jacques, is very different.
Yeah, on my little phone, it looks if they're just standing there, almost they're striking.
Yeah, so what happened is that it looked like the guys had actually run away from the pits as Brandon manages to get himself
close,
but just behind Steven. And that was very, very close. But you see on the back of those cars, it looked like that those were wets, but I'm pretty sure that that's a glitch.
And Steven must still pit.
Whoa!
Yeah, if that happened, yeah, maybe overcooked those wets now.
Just want to see what's happening here with Rudy trying to chase down Tyler, but we've got James that's he's had a little moment there. He looks like he went a little bit wide going up through Coppice that allowed Tyler to get ahead of him, and now here comes Rudy. You can definitely see that dry line starting to form, and James, Rudy just losing that rear as he got up onto that curb. So across the line, we're getting a lap at number 17, so 11 laps left. Rudy's going to have a look to the inside into turn 1. Absolutely fantastic move there by Rudy. He is going to be able to hold that line on the inside because that's where there is a dry line. So that has definitely, that little time behind James, definitely has slowed Rudy up to try and close himself up against Tyler. And that gap between Tyler and Christo is still around about 5 seconds. It was that when the guys pitted 2 laps ago. But Christo a little slower than Tyler that time around, 133.5. 131.6 for Tyler, Rudy 133.7. So Tyler is currently the fastest on the track.
I know Robert was drilling him last night to get that chicane right.
Yeah, that was actually very well done. You can see how you just rode that inside curb. Ooh, looked like James got it wrong going in towards the S's.
Oh.
I'll say, is that slick tires on the massive heavy puddle, or is that his tires just running out? So Dane having a great little tussle here with Pete, as Pete having to hang on there, getting that pretty wrong going through the S's. Can Dane have a little look to the inside? No, he's not close enough. But if he can just ride that inside curve, Pete goes a little bit wide. Dane gets that power down, but with Pete wider, he is able to get a faster exit. So James now goes into the pit, so he's going to be able to get those soft tires on and get rid of those wets. So we can start seeing those times really starting to drop now that those softs are kicking in. Brandon and Santos, the fastest second sector so far. So he's done a 36.7 there. So Brandon is fastest currently in sector 2. Christo 25.4 in sector 1. So he's the quickest there. And Tyler a 1:30.4. So Tyler's currently put the fastest lap this time round. Well, there's Brandon, a 1:29.9. So Brandon, he really is picking up that pace, and at that rate that he's going, he should be able to catch Rudy in the next like 7 laps or so, which will leave him with 1 lap or 2 laps spare, I suppose, to try and make a move.
What's the distance between Christo and Tyler?
That is 5.1 seconds. It's kind of just stayed between that 5.1, 5.2.
Okay.
Tyler did find 0.2 of a second that time round. But now that time dropped down to, okay, I was at 4.6, but now it's back to 5.2 because now they've both gone through the S's.
Yeah.
So once Christo crosses the start finish line, we'll have 8 laps to go, including the one that he's on. So on a lap number 20, there was a 1:29.4 for Christo. Let's see what happens when Tyler crosses the line. 1:29.9. So that's half a second. Christo is going quicker than Tyler.
Okay.
So Christo now has the fastest sector for a sector 1 and sector 3, but it is Brandon De Santos that still has the fastest sector 2. You see, Brandon looks like he's got himself a little time penalty there for his efforts. 1:31.2. Let's just see what's happened in terms of the penalties. So that's 1 second there for Brandon, 1 second there for James, and that's just cutting some corners there, running a little bit wide, creating an advantage for yourself.
I think in Alpha Lobby I saw a 1:26 point something, the fastest. I don't know which guy. Because I was too quick to go to the lobby, I didn't even save the replay. I think there was a 1:26.6 somewhere there.
Yeah, that is absolutely flying. But as the race goes on and the temperature drops, the tires start cooling up a bit, but then also the water will go away, and then there's also less fuel. So I think that those faster laps are still possible closer to the end of the race. And Jacques, were you running the hards or you running the softs?
Softs this time around. But yeah, we were running about 102 degrees on the left rear until we hit the back straight and it cools down again for us.
Yeah, so unfortunately saved over the button that I wanted to use so I could bring up that sort of information, so I wasn't able to get that sort of detail. But I did have my tire pressures, and they were fluctuating between 8.5 and 8.7 for the whole race, so it really got the tires working exactly how I wanted them.
But they didn't fit the right set
But
to
they
check the
didn't
other
put the
pictures.
right set, exactly. So Rudy is half a second, or 5 seconds away from Tyler, and Rudy 129.4. So currently Rudy is the quickest around the track so far. So Rudy, even though he was gaining that momentum the previous lap, you can see he did a 132.8, and the reality is that would have lost him 4 seconds on Tyler, whereas if he had done another 127, that 4 seconds gap that is currently between them would have come down to 0.
Yeah.
You could just see how twitchy that Corvette is now getting. Because what that's... slow down. You can hear that Rudy came straight off the power there, and he's definitely throwing that car in. You can just see how that nose just turned in and the rear just followed. So just jumping back to this little battle between Dane and Pete, and I do think that now the rain is gone, the track is dry, barring a few little splashes like that you've just seen. Is Dane's gonna make Pete's life very, very difficult. The GT40 definitely it does look a little bit more stable up through here. You just see how that rear of that Aston is kicking out as Pete gets onto that power. So yeah, to give a little bit of a counter steer there, where the GT40 is just holding true through there. So that was quite a tight line there for Pete, and you could see that even though Dane took a much wider line through the water, is that interesting line there for Pete seemed to be a little bit quicker than Dane's.
Yeah, but that Yakske River, yes, I was scared the whole time as I approached that. And I keep on getting flashbacks of the V8 Supercar Championship when Turkey forced me to make a mistake in that sense.
Yo. I remember the V8 Supercars. We also had some rain there at Algarve in Portugal. And myself and Ross going up before the double right-hander down the hill. I think it's turn 7, side by side in the rain. Man, oh man. It's things of nightmares.
What's the gap now between Tyler and Krista?
So 3.5 seconds is that gap, which is now extending slightly. So 3.6, 3.63, 3.65. Ooh, little kick of the rear there for Pete as he got that power on on the way out of Coppers. You can see Pete's a lot tight on the inside there. Dane riding a lot more the curb. That's a much better exit there for Dane. Is he going to have the drive down the hill? Dane just not able to get that power on. So they start lap number 24.
Aston is quite good out of the corners. It's got like a grunt from the corners.
But the GT40 definitely is a lot more stable through the corners. You can definitely see it. Whereas that rear, the Aston, is constantly kicking out. We'll see it now as they come up towards McLean's.
That GT40 is like this electric car.
Yes.
You think if you lift it up, actually in the pitch, you will see two magnets below the bottom.
Yeah, I must say the Porsche definitely was tricky for the season for me. Just when you think that you've got things under control, man. Is Dane going to have a lunch here on the inside? Not close enough. But I need to just get that power down and get the drive out.
And the main thing is I think the competition is just getting tougher and tougher every season in each lobby, so now and then you need to put some effort in if you want to stay on the top.
100%. You can see how that Aston worked very sideways down there. Nice line there for Dane. Got the car turned in on the power nice and early. Does seem like Dane is off the throttle a little bit just to not run too far up the back of the Aston in front of him. So the gap between Christo and Atala, just under 3 seconds is the gap. Oh, I think he's got him.
The tricky braking at the bottom.
I think that was very what's the word I'm looking for?
Say it in Afrikaans, then I'll tell it to you.
Can't even find the English version, let alone the Afrikaans. So that was very generous of Dane. If it was me, I was definitely gonna let Pete know. I was gonna basically just force that car in, get myself flying into the apex and force Pete around into the water, let him lose the traction and basically win that corner, where Dane was very conservative is the word I was looking for. Conservatief. How close was that?
Ja, nee, dat is toch gewoon naby.
Naby, dankie man. So now on the power and try and just force that mistake of the drive in front of you. But I think Dane would have seen that Pete made 2 slight mistakes there, but he got the drive. They are going to be side by side now heading towards the S's. And Dane definitely a lot closer this time round. But Pete's still managing to just hang on there.
But Aston is quick down that back straight. because Dane was not too far off and he still pulled him quite a bit.
Yep. So Christo starts his second last lap as race leader. 2.8 seconds is the gap between himself and Tyler. Rudy is in third place, Brandon in fourth, and Stephen in fifth. Then we're currently watching this battle for sixth and seventh place, and that is between Pete and Dane. So they head up across Starkey's Bridge, now up into turn 6. But this is where Dane needs to get right onto the back of that Aston, get a bit of a tow, set himself up in the chicane, because he definitely is getting a much quicker line through the S's, which can set him up for an overtake going down into the hairpin. See Pete going very, very narrow on that entry.
Ending big time.
And that's been allowing... Ooh, mistake there for Pete. Just rotated the rear. And that's now put Dane on the inside now into the Melbourne, unless there was a bit of a touch. But they're going to go side by side.
And the thing is, you don't want to be too close to that Aston. That's got a wide wing. It can hook your Ford easily.
So that is the race has just been completed. There is Christo. We saw him a flash in the lights as he crossed the line. And oh no. The Tyler finishing in a second place. Here comes Rudy. He'll cross the line in a third place. An absolute great effort there for him. Brandon Dos Santos, he's now approaching turn number 12. Just managing to hang on there in the end. Looks like he might have gone off. And I've caught that outside curb. It throws you back onto the track, then into the wall on the inside. And that's just your race absolutely ruined. Stephen crosses the line in a fifth place. I'm sure he would have liked to have finished a little bit higher up.
Yeah.
A slight Pete, he will be able to keep that battle between himself and Dane. And I think what had happened is that with Christo coming through, I think his car might have taken over. And while Christo was flashing those lights to say that he has finished, might have just run into one of the drivers. So that is pretty unfortunate if that was the case, but an absolute great effort. And even though I'm sure that Dane would have liked a higher result, the actual quality of the racing, I'm sure he couldn't have asked for any more. Then down in 8th place is James. A very fairly quiet race here for him. He did have some heated battles earlier on, and unfortunately not being able to get those that result to convert into some more points.
But yeah, well done to Christo and Tyler and Rudy.
Baie dankie Jacques, thank you for joining me.
Oh, you're welcome.
It's always lekker to have somebody to talk to and not always talking to myself.
I think that must be very difficult. But yeah, you probably get used to it. So
yeah.
But oh well. Enjoy. Thanks a lot.
Baie dankie.
Chat soon again.
Thank
Cheers.
you. Bye. So there you have it, guys. That is the final results. So Christoph comes home in first, and Tyler is in second. Rudy third place. Brandon fourth. Stephen in fifth. Sly Pete sixth. Dane in seventh. James in eighth. And unfortunately, a disconnect for Colin. It seems that I was kicked, and Colin went with him. So very, very unfortunately, sorry about that, Colin. Still not sure why I was disconnected.
Yeah, that's also I wasn't willing to take in the chance.
See you guys in Discord.
Okay, see you there.
Okay.
So guys, we're just waiting for the drivers to come and join us in the Discord. I do see that Rudy has jumped in there already. There is Tyler, and I'm sure that Christo will be joining us soon, so we can cross over. So there we go. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the post-race interviews. And let's start off with you, Rudy. That Corvette was looking absolutely fantastic there in the wet. It looked like you were going to be nice and quick, but as soon as that track started drying up, it seems like you just started not losing your pace, but just losing traction to the cars ahead.
Yeah, I had a good setup on it. Both wet and dry was fast on the wet, but yeah, that pedals in the end kept catching me out.
And just in terms of your setup, were you running more of a wet setup, or were you trying to get as much of a balanced setup as possible?
It was a balanced setup for both wet and dry.
Now look, a third position, I'm sure you're pretty happy with that.
Definitely, yes. So I was catching them at one point, but then yeah, those puddles at the end kept catching me out.
100%. Definitely the ones going there into the S is absolutely crazy. And if you get it wrong, we saw Gavin in the Alpha tier. He all of a sudden the car went to the right hand side when everybody was going left. So definitely could
I
catch
almost
you
had
out.
the same incident once, but I just let it run straight.
100%. Great race there for you, Rudy. Thank you very much, man. Let's go to you, Tyler. A second place for you. I'm pretty sure that you were watching that time. Maybe Tyler didn't want to speak to me. Hello, Tyler.
Sorry, the wrong button.
I was going to say, I'm sure you're watching that time starting to drop as the laps were going on, as you got into the dry setup, trying to get closer and closer to Chris. So after that, the pits, there was about a 10-second gap, eventually dropped down to 3 seconds. Did you think that you would have the pace to eventually catch him?
I hoped I would have had the pace to catch him. So, yeah, great race from Chris, though, really. Unfortunately, I didn't have the pace. So, one of those things. I knew the Porsches were going to be quick there, so I'm very happy with second and managing to be on pace with them in the wet and the dry.
It was absolutely awesome, and your car did look like it was quite hooked up, and we saw that when Rudy was trying to catch you, is that Rudy's car was sliding all over the place, but you seemed to be a lot more stable compared to that Corvette. So absolutely great drive there for you, Tyler.
Thanks.
And then let's go to you, Christo. An absolute cracker. I definitely want to get my hands on that setup and just compare it to what I had, because that car looked like it was absolutely on rails, man. Christo, we aren't able to hear you. Just check if you've got mute button there or something. No. I can see your mouth is talking, but we're not hearing you. Maybe just pop out and come back in. It happened to you the other day, Tyler, where you came in, we could see you were talking, but we weren't able to hear you. There we go.
How's that?
There we go. Perfect.
Yeah, getting used to this Discord here. Push the talk, I guess. But yeah, like with the setup there, I got lucky early in the season. It just translated throughout the season, which was good. So I didn't have to do too much work, thankfully, for Donnington. But I focused on the wet a bit just to try to get a nice lead, which I had, and then I got a nice spin out of there as I slipped into first gear by accident. So then Rudy was right on my tail, which he did a great job. But also Tyler throughout the second half of the race there, he just kept closing it second by second, and kept making little tiny mistakes getting off the line. So I was sweating. I was very, very nervous there. But everyone did. Yeah, it was a great drive for everybody. But I luckily was able to hold on and not make too many mistakes. So
look, it was an absolutely impressive drive. You did come into this last race knowing that you had to beat both Stephen and Tyler. Stephen had a little bit of an off going into turn number 1, so unfortunately he wasn't able to compete there. And that basically gives you the championship. So you're officially a SARCO champion.
Yeah, it's a little surprising considering the talent here in Bravo with Rudy and Tyler and Steven. So I'll take it. It was unfortunate with Steven. I did see him go off in the first turn there, and it would have been nice to get the battle in there with him as well, because he was looking very quick throughout the race as well. I think he got stuck behind a few guys, which slowed him down. But all in all, it was good. But these guys pushed me to go faster and faster. So,
but
don't give the credit to them.
Don't worry, Christo, because going into the next season, you're automatically promoted up into the Alpha tier, so you'll have more people to push you.
Oh, yeah, it makes me nervous. I saw the Alpha tier there, and they were putting in some quick laps. So, but it'll be fun. I look forward to it.
100%. Guys, thank you very much for an absolutely fantastic season. Thank you for the amazing racing, very clean through the season, and really looking forward to the next season. So just keep watching the Discord as well as our Facebook or website for the release of the new season. We do have some things that are currently in the plans, so hopefully we'll be able to release those in the next 2 weeks or so, and we can get us racing near the end of October. So guys, all I can say without further ado, thank you very much to Deliver Your Parcel for making this season happen. Guys, when we do the roundup show, we will explain exactly what's happened in terms of some of the prizes that we're going to be giving you, and really looking forward to that. So keep your eyes tuned. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you to all the drivers, all the admin that have helped. Thank you, Christo, for stepping in and doing those points for us. I'm sure you're pretty happy getting that Christo on spot number 1. %. Guys, thank you. All I can say, guys, is keep practicing, keep racing, and until then, thanks for watching. Yos.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, guys. Well done.